everybody. As you can see, it's a bonus quiz for 6.2, and this is the chapter where we deal with fractions. And they don't call them fractions, they call them rational expressions and rational equations, ratio being the operant word there. So this is a rational expression. There's no equal sign. They want us to subtract and simplify, and we certainly can do that. This one is nicely dealt because you know to add or subtract fractions you need common denominators. This one is dealt that way. So really all we need to do here is follow this arithmetic on top and write it over the common denominator. Still a bit tricky because we're subtracting both of these terms here, and I need to understand that there's basically parentheses there. And parenthesizing is going to be a key skill here for chapter 6, and you'll see that in the second problem of my work. Now, 8a minus 11, and this is going to be a sign changer to both of these terms. So the plus 7a is going to become a minus 7a, and the minus 2 is going to become a plus 2. And all of that is over this common denominator of a squared minus 81. Now I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms in the top. 8a minus 7a is going to simply be a. A minus 11 plus 2 is a minus 9. Now on the bottom, I know some of you recognize this as a difference of two squares, and you were wondering when I was going to factor it. This is really a squared minus 9 squared, and it was a common chapter 5 move to recognize the difference of two squares and factor it like so. A minus 9 times the quantity a plus 9. And the reason why I factored that is because I recognize that we now have common factors in the top and the bottom. And I can really just cancel these one for one. Now, as an aside, the textbook and Math Excel don't talk about canceling just yet. They talk about simplifying by removing a factor, which is the long way home to canceling. It's a more descriptive path to take. The reason why they do that is because students historically tend to over-cancel and to cancel incorrectly. But I think I can get you past that if we follow a simple rule. And the simple rule is you can cancel when you have all multiplication of numbers in the top and all multiplication of numbers in the bottom. Now up here, I could put in my silent factor of 1 to see that I am multiplying two numbers together in the top. And down here, I could show the mid dot to see that I'm multiplying two numbers together in the bottom. And so I have all multiplication of numbers in the top and the bottom, and so I can cancel the numbers one for one. And that leaves me with simply 1 over a plus 9, and that is what I'm going to input into Math Excel. So it's all about having all multiplication in the top and the bottom. For instance, 2 times 3 times 4 over 2 times 3. You have all multiplication there in the top and the bottom of numbers, and so you can in fact cancel 1 for 1, and the answer here is just 4. Let me show you a case where you can't cancel. How about x over x plus 9? Now it's true that you have all multiplication of numbers in the top, but in the bottom you have this addition. And so you can't simply cancel like that. You would be canceling across an addition sign here, and we could consider that to be a no-no. So we'll be talking more about canceling, and your textbook has a page devoted to it, which I suggest you look at. For now, this is the answer we are going to input. We said we had a fraction here, 1 over the quantity a plus 9. And now here's that second problem, which is an order of magnitude more difficult. And the reason why is because, as you can see, we do not have common denominators. And what I've done here is I've rewritten it big, and I've set it up in what I call my wouldn't it be nice form. And so what that means is I parenthesized the top. Remember I was telling you how important it is to do that. And then I went ahead and factored what I could factor. I pulled a 7 out of this, and that left behind a v plus 7. And I pulled a 9 out of this, and so that factored like this. And now, we're looking for common denominators, and we're playing this wouldn't it be nice game. I notice I already have these factors in common, so they helped us a bit. This one has a 9, and this one has a 7, and doesn't have a 9, and this one doesn't have a 7. So wouldn't it be nice if this one had a 9? Because if it did, I'd be closer to having these denominators look exactly alike. Of course, what you multiply the bottom of a fraction by, you have to multiply the top by, or else you would be changing things. And keep in mind, I'm just multiplying by 1 here. And I'm getting closer to having them the same. Wouldn't it be nice, though, if this one had a factor of 7? Because if it did, they would be exactly alike. 7 times 9 times v plus 7 7 times 9 times v plus 7. Of course, I need to multiply the top by 7. So that's the wouldn't it be nice game. You simply put in the factors that would make the denominators identical. And now we're good to follow the arithmetic on top. And I'm going to do that, but I'm going to kind of combine two moves in one. I'm going to go ahead and do this multiplication. And I'm going to do this minus 7 times this, and a minus 7 times this. So on top, I'm going to get 9v minus 36. Keep in mind I'm multiplying by negative 7 here. So I'm going to get a negative 7v, and a negative 7 times plus 5 is a negative 35. And that's all over this common denominator, which is three numbers multiplied together. 7 times 9 times v plus 7. Now some of you will be tempted to cancel here, and you can't because, yeah, you have all multiplication in the bottom, but in the top you certainly don't. And let's continue on apace. We're going to combine like terms up here. 9v minus 7v is 2v, and a minus 36 minus 35 is going to be a minus 71. Wow, I was expecting something even, I was hoping we could factor this up here. And so I'll go ahead and do my multiplication now. I get 63 times the quantity v plus 7. I'm not going to distribute. That would be creating work. It's in factored form. Let's leave it like that. Notice I can't pull a 2 out of these two terms, and v plus 7 is not going to cancel anything here. So this is it, as unsatisfactory as that is, because we like to have things cancel at the end and simplify. This thing does not simplify, and we just have to live with that fact. And so let me go ahead and move this aside. We'll put in this fraction. On top we had 2v minus 71, and on the bottom we had 63 times the quantity v plus 7. I think it looks good to go. Let's do a submit. And they're both correct. So there you go. The game is to play the wouldn't it be nice game, and I'll be using that technique as these bonus quizzes continue.